What is going on, fellow geeks? So I shape my channel around a lot of things, obviously meta geek. I talk about Star Wars, Marvel, and DC. And one of the things that doesn't have anything in common with any of the other ones is DC. And, it feels like Star Wars is finally starting to get it together. But my problem is, why does Warner Brothers never know what the heck they're doing? I'm going to talk about it. We're going to talk about this right after this transition. So, all the reports have come out. I don't have to tell you anything. You probably already know if you've clicked on this video. Now, I am not somebody who goes on the internet and says restore the Snyderverse and things like that. I'm not somebody who, attacks people on Twitter. I'm not one of those people. What I have though is that I really enjoy DC. I'm mainly I love Marvel Comics. I love Spider-Man. Pretty much that's the one Marvel superhero that I will die for. But when it comes to DC properties, I enjoy DC superheroes more than I do Marvel superheroes. And that's not saying that I don't love Marvel superheroes. I just have more of a connection with DC because obviously my age, Batman the animated series, Justice League Unlimited, Superman the animated series, Young Justice, Teen Titans. I don't think I have to tell you, I have more of a resonance when it comes to DC properties. And one problem that I have had for the longest time is having to sit and watch Warner Brothers not know how to create a cinematic universe. They were obviously behind the eight ball. The MCU blew up, and at that time, they decided that they were still going to do standalone, the Dark Knight movies, things of that nature. They weren't focusing on a DCEU at that time. But then they got Zack Snyder. And Zack Snyder made Man of Steel. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Man of Steel is my favorite Superman movie. It's far from my favorite Superman movie. But what I will say is that it's a pretty good stepping stone. It's not amazing. I don't think it's the best thing ever created. I think it was a good stepping stone. And then Batman versus Superman came out. I had always loved that concept, especially when we saw it in I Am Legend. Warner Brothers had been wanting to do it for a very long time. And then Batman versus Superman came out, and it wasn't really that good. I know people will defend Batman versus Superman. In my opinion, Batman versus Superman was not that great of a movie. It really dragged, and it felt like it didn't exactly do, like, even the old people were saying that why are Batman and Superman fighting? I really felt the premise of it didn't really hit with me like that. But the one thing that really made me mad about that movie is that in the second movie that they have in the DCEU, they haven't done a Batman movie. They hadn't done a second Man of Steel movie. They hadn't introduced Wonder Woman in her movie or anything like that. That's one of the main things that Warner Brothers does, is they rush these things to be like, hey, we put all these people together. Don't you like that? The Avengers came out. That's not how it works, Warner Brothers. You set up characters by themselves and then you cross them over. You do not cross them over and then, oh, all right, now here's their solo movies. That can work in some instances where you introduce a character and you make them so interesting, you're like, oh, I cannot wait for the solo movie that came out. And in that span, it worked with Wonder Woman. But with Batman, it was kind of like, this is the first time we've seen this Batman. There were so many questions coming out of it. But the main gripe that I have with that movie is that they killed Superman, their main guy in their universe. Imagine if in Iron Man 2, they just killed Tony Stark. Or in Captain America, in the Winter Soldier, they had Bucky kill Captain America, even though everybody knows that Captain America is supposed to lead the Avengers. That's what didn't make sense. And we knew that a Justice League movie was coming. But what does Warner Brothers go and do? They take their big two. And you can argue that The Flash and Wonder Woman and Green Lantern are all other big characters, but they took their big two characters and they didn't do them right. Two characters that they wanted to build a universe around. They did not do them right. Superman felt like he was getting there. They killed him because they wanted to do the death of Superman in the second ever movie. It was not earned. And then they take Batman, who, of course, everybody knows Batman, so they didn't feel like they needed to do a Batman movie. But in reality, they did need to do one because that character is not super fleshed out. There's so many questions when it comes to that. And then they do Justice League, and then Justice League is its own thing. But then they decide to, after doing more movies like Wonder Woman 1984 and all that, they go on, and Zack Snyder's not involved anymore. It's kind of still built on his universe. But then these reports come out that the new Flash movie, which we're all pretty excited for, I would think that we're all pretty excited for the Flash, come out and tell us that actually this movie is going to be used to undo the DCEU, to take certain things that they want to cherry pick and move forward with and get rid of all of the things that they don't feel like they want to touch anymore. Some of those being things established with Zack Snyder. Warner Brothers, what are you doing? It makes no sense to do that. It literally makes no sense to do that. You had such a huge movement with the release of the Snyder Cut. You understand how big of a movement that is. And you go, actually, we're going to undo it. We gave you the Snyder Cut and then we're going to undo it. Now, of course, all these reports that came out might not be the full story. And, if that is the case, I really hope it is the case because we kind of understand why they want to write Ben Affleck out, right? I think we all kind of know that. Ben Affleck does not want to do IP movies anymore. He doesn't want to do the Batman, and he's kind of okay with it stepping away, and Warner Brothers is okay with him stepping away too. The problem is Henry Cavill's Superman. I understand that he is a Snyder character, and they're like, hey, we need to move on from this. Let's do a reboot, and we're going to do our own thing. But the problem is, almost all the fans, even me, not somebody who's super embedded in. I love these characters, but I understand that the company that controls them doesn't know what they're doing. So in reality, they're going to take Superman, the poster boy for superheroes, the person that when you think of the quintessential superhero, you think of Superman. That is a superhero. They're going to take him and Henry Cavill, the character, an actor who wants to continue portraying Superman. Of course, we don't know the whole story, but we do know he said the cape is always in the closet. People love him. He loves the character of Superman, and Warner Brothers is going to write him out of the universe. It makes zero sense. I don't understand what Warner Brothers thinks they're doing. At this point, it almost feels like they're looking at their fan base and just flipping them the bird and telling them, we don't care what you want. We're going to flip everything around and do what we want, and you're going to like it. But in reality, you're not listening to the fans. If fans are going to be vocal enough to tell you that they don't want this, and they see that what you're doing is still not what they want, you have a few things that people like. You've got Aquaman, you had Shazam, you had Wonder Woman, and then you botched that with 1984. Thank you, Patty Jenkins. But in reality, you got one of the best properties in superhero catalogs to make one of the greatest cinematic universes ever. And the fact that you blew your load so early and now you understand that you did that. So you're going to try to rewrite everything with a character that I love in The Flash that is just going to make people not like Ezra Miller's Flash already more than some people don't. It's a travesty. It is. I don't understand what Warner Brothers is doing. I think a lot of people are in the same boat as me. Obviously, these are, characters that we love, so we want to see them treated with respect, not feel like everything. I own every single DCEU movie on 4K, okay? I own every single one on 4K. And yeah, that's on me. I love these characters. And the fact that it basically feels like everything that I've kind of went through and watched them try to build and then fail and then keep building and then fail again really pisses me off. And I think it pisses off a lot of other people too. I've been Jake, aka the Meta Geek. I'll see all of you geeks next time.